Alright, so hey guys, so welcome to another Warframe video, and today we're going to take a quick look at the Zylok, which for whatever reason I just sort of neglected. Now, even though you can't currently get the Zylok because it was a reward from the Pyrus Project event in which we rebuild the strata relay on Earth, I'm fairly certain it will come back via Burrow. Because aside from the Excalibur Prime Founder Pack, the chaps at DE really don't like having exclusive gear. Now, the Zylok is a Mastery Rank 6 secondary weapon that's kind of like a sawn-off Sybaris, however it's using a duplex trigger mechanism like the Tigress, so it's kind of like a burst weapon, but instead of firing a burst when you press the fire button, it fires the first shot when you press the fire button and the second shot when you release it. So you can either just tap the fire button, which will do a quick 2-shot burst, or you can wait in between each shot, which is actually quite beneficial with the Zylok, because if you're just tapping the fire button and you're bursting at maximum fire rate, the weapon becomes quite inaccurate. Now, as far as the stats are concerned, the weapon does 140 damage per shot, 78.4 is slash, 44.8 is impact, and only 16.8 is puncture. It has a very low crit chance even for a secondary weapon at only 8%, a standard 2x crit multiplier, though it does have a 26% status chance. It can also fire up to 1.8 rounds per second with an 8-round magazine, 210 rounds in total, and a reload time of 1.2 seconds. Now, I'm actually using two different setups on the Zylok, and both of them require 3 Forma where you add 3 Vs. The first one is for the Grenier and higher tier infested, and the second one is for the Corpus and lower tier infested, and the first half of the build is the same for both builds. So we have Hornet Strike for damage, Barrel Diffusion for multi-shot, Lethal Torrent for fire rate and multi-shot, and then Ogre Pact for damage. Then for the Grenier, high tier infested, and I guess the corrupted one as well, we have Frostbite and Pistol Pestilence for viral, followed by Maim, which tilts the weapon far more towards slash, so it's proccing slash all the time, and then Expel Grenier, infested or corrupted based on what you're fighting. And then for Corpus and the low tier infested, we have Pistol Pestilence, Scorch, and Pathogen rounds for a ton of gas, and then either Expel Corpus or infested. Now, both of these setups are quite good and they will do a respectable amount of damage, but when it comes to the Grenier and the Corrupted at high levels, you will have to go for headshots to get that extra multiplier. Because once you start creeping up to sort of level 100-ish, body shots are just not going to cut it. The best performance you're gonna get out of this is actually with the second setup versus the Corpus, where a single gas proc can just decimate a group of even level 100 Corpus, especially when you proc it on a headshot. And while it's definitely not bad versus the infested, especially with the second setup versus the low tier infested, it's just not ideal. You know, you ideally want something that does AoE damage so you can AoE them down normally and you don't have to rely on the gas procs, or you want something rapid fire. Man, this is a bit of an odd one. It's kind of unique because it's only the second gun technically that's using the duplex trigger mechanism, though we do have 3 variants of the Tigress. But it's also completely mediocre at the same time, so the uniqueness of the duplex trigger mechanism kind of gets overshadowed by how mediocre it is. Though to its credit, it is using the Merlock spin when you're firing it, so that is kind of cool. But yeah, it is incredibly mediocre, mainly because it just can't crit, and that's a big downer when it comes to weapons that rely on slash to do a lot of their damage, because crit is one of the biggest multipliers for slash procs. So honestly, I'm kind of hesitant to recommend you pick this up if it were to show up on Burrow, but if it shows up as a reward from yet another relay reconstruction event, you're just gonna get it as you do the event. And that is pretty much all I have to say about the Zylok, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.
Sons and daughters, I, the heart of who we are, making peace to build a future, strong, united.